enough. As good enough.
Welcome to our weekly podcast, Good Enough, with your co-hosts, Sam Lewis and Mark Lips. Our goal on Good Enough is to interview guests who do not let being perfect keep them from achieving their dreams. Whether it be writing a book, growing a business, achieving some other success, all of these people are heartfelt, passionate, and good enough to be noticed and guests on our podcast. We welcome them, and we also thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Mark, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. For wonderful to hear you, Sam.
What's that background noise?
That background noise for you listeners, welcome to Good Enough. And I just want to show you who one of our guests are this week. There he is. Hey, bud. Say hello, bud.
Listeners, I'm looking at an indoor. I'm looking at an indoor pig, and I'm not joking, listeners.
Yeah. Normally he's not indoors, but Tammy left for LA today, so he got to come inside.
What goes on in that house when Tammy's not there?
Bud, how are you, buddy?
Oh my God.
Say hello, bud. Say hello. All those listeners out there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, golly, great to see you, Sam. I feel like it's been a while, but it's only been since.
Our first show was with Tara, and that's
yeah. I've had it on my newsletter for about a year now?
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Year and a half.
Well, hey, so by the way, listeners, just so you know, our podcast is sponsored by the Right Choice Farm and Catering, the Happy Friday Neighbors newsletter that comes out once a week. And Sam?
Pride Staff, Bloomington, Illinois, full service staffing agency, and the PPP, Finally Friday Philosophy, Substack.
Which I steal all kinds of stuff from there. I love that guy, Mike. How come we don't have Mike on?
Mike.
The guy that...
my friend Mike.
Yeah.
He does a wonderful job curating those jokes.
Oh, that's not him? He curates those?
Yeah.
So no one's getting credit other than him?
That's it.
Isn't that illegal?
I'm going to cut this out.
Oh, no. It's not cut out now.
I'm the editor.
But you got to give props.
I don't know where he gets them. I don't know where he might write them. I don't know.
You're right. There's nothing original. Shakespeare thought of everything way before all of us.
That's right. You got that right.
Yep. Hey, so listeners, in case you don't know it, my wonderful friend over here, my best friend from high school, who went to Summersville School, which, by the way, my grandfather was the principal of until he died in 1954.
That's true.
1936 to 54. It used to be, the gym used to have his plaque up there. I actually talked to him today to see, because they built a new gym there in 2000.
Yeah.
And I've called them to see if they have that plaque, if it's still up, what's going on, stuff like that. And I said, we'll bring it up in our podcast if you don't find it. And heads will roll. No. But anyway, you're a poet, a wonderful poet. I love your poetry. Nothing rhymes, but
thank you.
I'm old school poetry where if the word is book, the next one has to be look, or
you like the rhyming. You're the rhyming guy.
Red, violets are blue. I love you, and
I never was a rhyming. I've written poetry all my life, but I was never a rhyming guy, and I always felt like when I do it, it sounds contrived and forced. Other people do it.
So look at Robert Frost. Robert Frost loves to rhyme. And his stuff's great.
Yeah, and certain people can do it.
You've got to learn to rhyme. You can't just go, oh, look at the flowers. And then there's some bees. Oh, yes, there's grass. And
you can. You can
then
do
you
that.
go, and I'm on my knees. Ain't that works? I'm a natural.
Terry and I got into this discussion last night. We were watching, what's the show about the World War II bombers?
Oh, yeah, Master of Air.
Master of Air. And, that was...
That's the Air. Right.
I was a 12 O'Clock High fan. I don't know if you remember that movie and then that subsequent television show, and just what those guys, of course it wasn't being in a tank in the trenches. I get it, but still what some of those guys were doing.
I'm reading a seven-part series book because historical fiction, and it's all about. It takes place in Britain, but then the U.S. comes in, and it's literally starts 1939 up through. Well, I'm in book 6. We're at 44 now, but let me tell you, what I love about it. It's not just the events; it's the people in the events and what their lives are like, what their life was like to live as a resistance person in occupied France, what it was like to live as going up in an airplane, in a bomber or a fighter pilot. Those guys in the Battle of Britain. Holy crap! Crazy. Talking about sphincters shrinking and swallowing you from the.
Here's one thing I've learned about that 12 O'Clock High and Masters there and all that. Never be a ball-turnt governor.
Oh my gosh!
You try.
Yeah, he's always.
You drew that. Nope. Just shoot me in the head. Shoot me in the head.
I got some good news and bad news. We should be able to land the plane. The guy that's on the bottom of the ball turret. Sorry, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
The guy couldn't even bail out. If his turret was stuck, he couldn't even bail out.
I know, and his buddy. Unfortunately, what are you? Do you lose 2 or 1? And it's all about resources back then. Like, and there were people. It was interesting too. I love these books, because first of all, it reads like a novel, but it's all based on real stuff.
Who wrote these books?
I said it. My Happy Friday. Do you not read My Happy Friday?
I do. I don't remember seeing that.
Brought it up. Yes, I did. It was Lee Archer, I think, or somebody like that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's Mike Art. No, Lee. Anyway, so I get to read this. It's almost like a beach read, but about real shit, and like there were people who worked in intelligence who found out certain things, who wanted to go fight, and they wouldn't let them go fight because they said, if you get captured and tortured, boom, you got too many secrets.
Yeah.
And everybody, like all those people, even the secretary who worked in that building, all of them had cyanide tablets built into their collars.
I just had this conversation yesterday with a friend of mine, and we were talking about we were talking about war today and how, a certain generation on is not tough or ready. I said, I think from my generation back, I said, even in Vietnam, we didn't have to make sacrifices like they had to make for Korea or World War II, or
also
every family had to make a sacrifice.
That's right. And that was what they point out. Just being. And also I learned about the Sark Islands, Sark Island and Guernsey. Those areas were actually taken over by the Nazis, and that was British held territory.
Is that in like up Norwegian area?
No, they spoke is right off the coast of France, between France and Britain.
Okay.
And they spoke British, the English, but also spoke French. And so if you were born there, you had this, actually a third one too, they had their own kind of language. If you read about Sark and Guernsey, very cool places. There are a lot of wealthy people live there now, but it was a very cool, and so Britain actually, the Nazis actually took it over. And so they, so you get to live in their shoes for a while, people who were living there under that kind of thumb where they're writing letters to their family in Britain, yet they're getting knocks on the door because it's just a little teeny island, right? And some of them had radios, they had their own little underground newspaper and all of that.
Like All the Light We Cannot See, that novel, although it was a novel, it was still pretty.
Yeah. And then I watched a movie the other night, older movie, young Andrew Garfield, a younger Robert Redford, Meryl Streep, called Lions for Lambs.
Yeah, I vaguely
But
remember
it'll
that.
make. I'd never heard. I didn't remember it at all. But
Vaguely
it
remember that.
think because it talks about thinking you're going over to Afghanistan like you're going to accomplish something. Robert Redford plays this professor, and he's trying to talk guys out of joining the military, and he says that's just ridiculous. Why? There's no way you come out of it. There is no win. There is no, you can't win. There is no win. Vietnam was no win. Afghanistan, no win.
Win.
So why continue throwing stuff into that no win situation? And it's all about that. It really hammers home on multiple fronts, and I thought that was an interesting movie. But
so to change the subject a little bit, James Laing.
Yeah.
So I'm flat-footed here. I have no idea what book he wrote. I didn't get a bio.
Yeah. No, I sent a picture of it to you. He
did?
wrote a novel. It's actually a novel. It's not. I don't think it's autobiographical. James and our boys played baseball together, and he wrote this book. And I guess he divorced the lady that I knew.
Listeners, Mark is showing the cover of the book, which he claims to have sent to me, which I'm going to deny.
Yeah, no, I put it in a text. I tell you, I think, you guys, Sam is starting to get a little.
Not starting. Well, I'm way past the start. I'm going into the first term.
Yeah. And anyway, he wrote this novel, and I read it. It's a quick read. It's a simple read. It's an easy read. He must have I think he self-published. I don't know. But it kept, what's interesting? I was turning the pages.
Well, you read a lot. That means something.
Yeah, because it was a mystery. It was two guys, or an little action thing, whatever. But James and I, our sons played baseball together. And what I always thought was cool is his wife was good friends with the wife of Keith Richards. And so every now and then, Keith Richards, if they were doing a concert in LA, would go hide out at James' house. And one time James sent a picture or something to Keith Richards, arm around his son and all that, just hanging out. They were all hanging out. And I was going to put it in my newsletter. He goes, no, Mark, don't do that. Don't do that. No, he's hiding out. That's the whole purpose, But now he's with this other lady, and who seems great, because I'm following him on Facebook. I'm on Facebook with him, and they're always hiking up in the North Woods. But now they're in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I'm not really, let's find out what he's doing.
Well, I just before we switch over there, I just want to say that we've got to clean up our environment, our planet, because we need to make sure that this world is a good place to leave Keith Richards.
Yeah, well, and Willie Nelson.
It was Betty White.
Yeah, no, obviously she didn't have the lasting power, but that's what they say. We have to make sure that we keep our planet in good shape so that we're leaving something that we can be proud of for Keith and Willie. So yeah, all right, let's talk to James if he's here.
Do it. See you there.
All right, buddy.
It's me. Bye-bye. Oh, there you go. Hey, Sam, how you doing?
Good, James. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about this little madness I've created.
Well, I think you're welcome. We'll see at the end of the podcast. So,
that's fun.
Yeah. We think you wrote it with AI. We think you used AI. Well, that's not really James. That's not that.
What's fantastic is when I published it, they asked if you used AI and they wouldn't publish it. So that's something that's you can't do.
Right.
Yeah, I've heard
that.
They really
I didn't create it. Talk to McConaughey. He's the one doing the commercials.
But you didn't use AI, right?
No, of course not.
No, I can tell when you
this came out of my insanity.
Hey, I can tell when you spell guarantee guarantee or something like yeah. Anyway,
I am a Canadian after all.
I know. And look at that, you're still playing guitar. Look, God, you're like my hero, man. You're like a rock star. Now you're a writer. I'm pissed. God dang.
Why? So James, why the book?
What
book?
it's funny. I think it was a challenge to myself, to be honest. The idea came through a process of me going to sleep at night, and I just couldn't. I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't doing anything else, and what I would do is I'd create this raven going over the water of the DC Capitol where the obelisk is, and go up and get this blank piece of paper from Lincoln, up on the top, right?
My gosh.
And if it had writing on it or this and that, I had to decipher what it was for and what it was and read this whole thing. So if it became blank, I came through this portal of this delight, and that's where the book starts. The kids playing chess.
That's one thing I've been asking myself for a long time. When do the flashbacks happen for me? I was the flashbacks would happen. I haven't had one yet. I'm glad to see that you're going. Hey, good.
That story is not an uncommon story for creatives and writers.
Really?
That right before the sleep, Edison used to sit in the chair and with ball bearings in his hands and a pie pan under each. So he said, right before you fall asleep, something goes on in your brain. So he would when he fell asleep, he'd drop the ball bearings and it would wake him up and he'd write down
immediately what.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Well, put in the same sentence as Einstein, that's insane, but no. So I just fell asleep, and then I get further and further and further. And then when I got to the end of the story, then I couldn't sleep for months because I was so excited I had this crazy story from start to finish.
So
was it in your
you already
head?
have the story in your head? At least the outline?
No, I did not. I created it during my sleep pattern to go to sleep because I had insomnia, basically.
Were you writing it down then, or were you?
No, I just kept it in my brain. I've been a guitar player, songwriter, and a musician for decades. And, memorizing songs, lyrics to songs, I would always put me to sleep. But now it keeps me awake because I know so many. So it's kind of like, it's this blah, 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 computer, but I'm also thinking it's good for cognitive function. And so I just like playing guitar because it keeps my brain and my hands going at the same time. And like I said, I can't type. I'm a one-finger typer, and and I'm better now, obviously. But I wrote, it's a novella. It's only 31,000 words, but at the same time, I wanted it to become like a movie in your head. So when you read it, it's a sit-down movie in your head. So it's a great couple hours. Cup of tea, glass of wine, nice afternoon. It's a fun read, and I think it's good for 14 and over. I had to rate it to where I think A, you can read it, and B, understand it. But I think it's important. I think it was a really cool story, and I lived in the Pacific Northwest, and I love the place. I think it's one of the more beautiful places I've ever been, and it's a great time. So I don't know. The story just came.
So where did you live in the Pacific Northwest?
Bellingham.
So tell me where Bellingham is. That in Washington or Oregon or?
It's Washington State, up by the Canadian border.
Beautiful part of Washington.
Yeah. It's really nice. You got the Puget Sound right there. You have 136 islands or 7. It's in my book. I don't know. I looked it up so I didn't look like an idiot.
Yeah. So why I thought that was your forever, you're going to stop there. Now you're in Scottsdale. What happened there? Or do I need to know? Or do I want to know?
Well, interesting. Fodder for another book my wife and I want to do, and she's a nutritionist. So she's working on her second book on anti-inflammatory foods and how you can eat better than eating at McDonald's, for instance. But
oh my God.
That being said, during COVID, we lived in a camper for a year and a half. Wow. And we traveled America and got flair for the seasonal foods as we traveled. And it was an exceptional experience. Like, at first it was horrible because I can't believe I'm living in a trailer, like I've never experienced,
I met so many people, 'cause
I never thought I'd be trailer park trash, but there I am.
no, listen. During COVID on our farm, we have we allow what's called Harvest Host.
Yeah, okay, we are members.
And I had a grandmother.
Do you still do it?
RV, and her husband had died 2 years ago. This was, towards the tail end of COVID. It was COVID, and she said, I just had to get out of the house. And I said, I'm going to just travel around and have an adventure. And I said, good on you, man. Good on you.
So, Mark, do you still do it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you this summer.
All right. Come on up, brother.
We're planning our trip.
I tried to get our first guest on Good Enough was a friend of Mark's.
Who?
And one of our first guests on this show was a friend of yours, and her husband got a motorhome. First trip, first night.
Oh, Jackie
fell out of bed and broke her arm.
You remember South Bay by Jackie, James?
Oh, no.
Jackie Balestra. No. Okay.
I think you're eluding me on this one. No.
Yeah. We also had on, who wrote a book. Sorry, Sam. I'll get back to that in a second. Who wrote a book too about raising triplets. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. Of course I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. Court Cassidy.
So he wrote it?
He wrote a book called Raising, what was it, Sam? Raising Triplets or something like that.
No, it's Not Your Father's World.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, Not Your Father's World. It's the story of raising triplets or something like that. And by the way, they've all got babies now and everything. I mean, it's
that family is 1/3. That is almost 1/4 of the baseball team.
I know. No, sorry, Sam. I interrupted. What? Yeah, Jackie and John they bought a place in Boise, and they had their place in Hermosa, or maybe it's Redondo, but they bought a motorhome, and
they were going to wait out COVID.
Yeah.
And so the first night she rolled out of bed, was it, Mark, and broke her.
They didn't put something in the middle to give it, or they did, but they didn't put something that didn't prevent you from tripping downstairs or something.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. So we lived in this camper. We did a year and a half of it, and then came through Phoenix the first time. And I've been here many times with Madden playing baseball at his club baseball.
Spring training, we all went to
training, all that stuff. And we met her parents here. So and Sarah loved it. And we're like, okay, let's just, our shit's in storage. So put it in a container. I'll go and get it like it already was. So I'm just, we just love it here. I'm close to LA, but I don't have the South Bay cost and the congestion and everything else like that.
Yeah. Well, anymore it's California costs. Holy mackerel.
Well, yeah. Whatever.
By the way, Mark, are you getting rained on? Did you get some of that tropic atmospheric river?
We got dumped on, man. Oh yeah, winds, 35, 40 mile an hour winds, and branches breaking and stuff like that. Not as bad this year as it was for that big snowmageddon that we had last year, but
I left in a naked time for
I
that.
got another question for you, Mr. Laing.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I'm upset that my name's not in here. I didn't become a character, but I did notice Garrett Wells.
Yes, sir. For me, coming up with names is really fun.
Yeah.
And he's always been a character, and I always loved the name.
Right.
And I hope he doesn't sue me for it, but
Has he read it? Does he know that it's in there?
No.
Oh,
Madden has a copy, and we'll see if he even can read,
Yeah. Oh,
He's going to Miracosta after all.
So what other? That's the only name I really recognized. What about the others? Any others?
Oh, I just mixed them up.
Okay.
Do you know who Chris Madrid is?
Name sounds familiar.
Yeah. So Chris is Chris Madrid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Peter Chulik, and
Yeah.
he's another character in town.
Right.
And I just saw it.
Peter Chulik.
Yeah,
Oh
Peter
my
Chulik.
gosh. His
Yeah.
dad, Mark Chulik, lived right next door to us when we first moved into Manhattan Beach.
I moved into Bellingham and he lived with us for a year.
Really?
Yeah, no. I put him up for a year. No rent, no nothing. Just dealt with his ass.
All right. Well, I may call you up. So
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a small.
Sam, it's pretty fun. It's these two kids. They grow up on a military base together and they're rascals, but they're inseparable. They both become SEALs. They both go into the ship, right? They both get in it. Well, one gets injured and leaves, and that's the last time his buddy hears from him. So he finally, after he gets through all his stuff, says, I'm going to go try to find him. And it's this search for him, finds him. He's gotten involved with these drug dealers up in the Pacific Northwest, and it's all about rescuing him. And the characters that he brings on, he's got the barmaid from a local saloon. He's got this grizzled Navy veteran who runs a boat and a fishing tackle shop. And it's just it's a nice, it's a great little action piece. It's really harkens to like a Jack Reacher or something like that,
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. I liked it. I mean, I thought, I'm going to read this. I'm going to try to skim through it real quick. I'm ready for this to talk to James,
It's a great bathroom
talking point. He's got
I started reading it, man. I'm going, oh shit. Oh, I got to go do something. And I'm marking the page. And then I'm coming back. I'm going, okay. Oh, yeah.
Cool. That's what I was trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Is that I didn't know how I was going to read when I wrote it. It was a lot harder than I thought. I didn't realize what I got myself into, but I'm not a quitter. So I really wanted to finish it, and it was hard. It wasn't an easy process.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to read cool, and I didn't know if it would. So there you go. Cool. Thanks.
Well,
man.
everybody tells me I need to put my Happy Friday into a book or some kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Sam, he's got so many great poems. He calls them poems. Nothing rhymes.
They don't rhyme, so Mark doesn't like them.
What is it with these? A
well,
poem.
I'm more like a Charles Bukowski than a David Frost or a
right.
Frost.
But he's got and he should be publishing this stuff. He should be self-publishing, doing something like that. Which brings me to, how did you publish? How did you do that?
With the help with Sarah, we self-published it through Kindle and Amazon.
Yeah. Is that that's what a lot of the people primarily the people we've talked to on this podcast have all been off. I mean, I would say, when you say Sam, a lot of authors, a lot of people.
We've spoken with several authors. We're kind of developing a theme, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
I've got another couple authors maybe lined up for us.
Paul Ahmed just finished another book.
Well, I wanted to, for ego's sake, to send it in, and it was like, is it really authentic if I do it this way? And Sarah said 100%. You fill out all these forms. You got to do it. There's a certain way it's all done. And yeah, you're still published. Like, they bet you. So
so is that hard to do, self-publishing? I mean,
it wasn't easy for me, but Sarah had to figure it all out. So she's doing her own book and her second one.
I'll give her a call.
No. When she's ready, I'll let you know. And
that's another theme that we've had on here is the healthy lifestyle theme.
Yeah, we've had the Blue Zone. Tell Sarah, we've had the Blue Zones people on, and which has been good.
Jeff Davis.
Unfortunately, James, we only have about 10 people who watch our podcast, but
and they're genetically related to us.
By the way,
yeah,
we tell the Blue Zones people it's 10,000. Don't let those numbers fool you. But
that's perfect. Yeah,
it's a quality 10. It's a quality 10. They're intelligent.
They're top-notch 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, one of them is a little, but the rest, the 9, it's a quality 9.
Yeah. Hey, the one that's like this is probably going to be my best friend.
Right.
Yeah,
same.
He's destined for jail.
Same. So, What's Madden up to?
Sorry?
What's Madden up to?
Madden's up doing construction in Manhattan Beach with his cousin Brett, and they have a little company running on, and they're working with Matt Morris and a lot of other of the big boys and RJ and
Wow. Well, 3/4 of the people on my newsletter are Manhattan South Bay. I mean,
right.
send, I'd love to do, remember Madden, the kid playing baseball, look what he's doing now. Brochure, I love promoting the kids and what they're doing, local business and all that. I don't know if he's Jackson.
They've started a couple things, man, and he has something to say, and he is working on, the $12 million homes.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing the work.
Cheap homes in Manhattan Beach.
Well, that's true, but like they did build one golf thing for. I didn't even ask him much, but with all the wood paneling and
right
golf simulator and all that stuff, folding doors that go out, so you can see the whole ocean. It's like it's bougie.
So he's with Brett.
Yeah, Brett. Yeah, that's right. Brett Madden, Bobby Madden.
Okay, so I don't
Vicky
think
Vicky Madden was a realtor with a Shorewood.
Okay.
Bobby did mortgage lending.
Right. Okay. All right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
when Sarah gets that nutrition, we love that stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah, we've had Blue Zones on twice.
Jeff Davis. I would count Jeff Davis as another nutrition guy.
Jeff Davis, who we had on, won. What was it, Sammy? He won.
He's a
world championship seniors
60-year-old wrestler
and older wrestling.
Yeah,
unbelievable guy.
That's after having a major heart attack.
Yeah,
I can't discuss what she does because she is better than everybody else, and I'm just gonna let you guys know that. Yeah. But once it does come out with it, I'll let you have the first take on it, and we can go with that.
Just be one more. Yeah.
Yeah. Mark, we had a CBD business. We were one of 3 first registered in the country. She licensed medical marijuana in Canada. So she knows about cannabinoids, and that's a hint. And, everyone can get a little bit more educated and get a little bit more savvy. But the one thing she ain't stupid. So,
well,
Mark and I were pretty certain we invented cannabinoids. Is that?
Yeah, well, you grew them maybe.
Well, where I am now, where our farm.
Invent them.
We grew up in Southern Illinois. It was everywhere.
Yeah. I remember, and that was back when you could get in trouble in the 70s. You're not that old, I don't think, but when Sam,
I am.
Back when the cops would stop us out at some farm, having a party out at some farm or something, the cops would stop me. I'd roll down the window and I'm trying to talk to him, and I tried to eat the bag of pot and stuff just flying out of my mouth and caught in the flashlight glare. I'm seeing it. I don't know. I guess he didn't see it because he didn't do anything, but I was just like, every time I spoke, it was just flying out of my mouth.
We got pulled up. We got pulled over one time, and the cop was beside me and pulled over, and then I realized he's on foot. He's not even in a car. We were going that slow in the car. Said you're gonna have to pull.
Hey,
I said, he doesn't have a car. How's he keeping up?
Hey, here's the other thing, James. I'm up here in Northern California. We got farms all over, pot farms everywhere. I mean, most of your permitting.
I'm going to be throwing my camper on your lot, man.
Right on.
We got a large one south of town here.
I'll just come for a night with my guitar and a bottle of wine. I won't scare you.
There you go. Hey, you know what? Yeah, well, I'll organize something in the barn, and you can play, and we'll have people over. We'll do some, we have a commercial kitchen, an event space barn, 2 vineyards, bunch of 115 fruit trees. We could organize an event around you.
Well, we might want to keep it a little bit more key than that, man. Low key. I'm just a humble servant, brother. I
Yeah,
just want to say hi and thank you very much for the
yeah. No,
opportunity.
no. I'll just invite my buddies over and we'll have some fun.
You won't need to bring a bottle of wine to that
Yeah.
place. I was there last year. They got it stacked everywhere.
Yeah,
Well,
this one vineyard is the Lake County Symphony Wine Club takes care of it. In return, I get like 8 or 9 cases a year, 10 cases, you know.
Hey, I have no problem throwing 3 of those in my camper and just taking off, brah.
That's fine. I love it. I'd love for you to do it. Put that Right Choice label on there and we'll send it off with you.
Hashtag, I'll hashtag you from every spot that we go.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Don't use the Harvest Host site though, because I only do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with Harvest Host unless I know you.
Yeah.
We've got a couple. We have
Yeah,
a couple.
I'll just DM you and just we can get
Yeah. Listen,
right.
Jake, I'm so proud of you for writing this. And you know what? I love that it's a novella versus most of the authors are writing something that's either self-help or autobiographical or, you know, this is fun to read something that is a story that, you know, it's kind of fun. I love it.
Thank you very much, guys. Really, really appreciate it. Really, that's cool.
How much time we have?
Sam? Hard. Writing is hard.
Time, Sam? How much time?
Right, writing is very hard. Yeah, I find it difficult. Yes.
We started late, though, didn't we? We started a quarter after.
That's why.
You got about 4 minutes.
I keep trying to. You know, I think about that writing and because I write every week, but I need, you know, you have to do lots of it and you get better and better and better. You can take writing courses and get some basic frameworks and principles down, but really take going out and writing.
I'll just give you guys a quick snippet before we have to go. In grade 13 in Toronto. We had grade 13 in Canada. And I read a book by Mordecai Rickler, the Apprenticeship of Dirty Kravitz. And the story was so compelling to me. We had a choice at the end to write an essay, do the test, or do a chapter. And I wrote a chapter and my teacher loved it so much. It got to Mordecai Rickler and he said all this crazy shit. By the time, you know, I took a trip to Europe, so I didn't catch the backlash of that. But my teacher called me when I got back and my mom got calls and there's all this stuff. I had no idea. I was gone. I was like backpacking, like, woo, I'm just fucking out of high school, you know? and so that's when I started, wow, writing might be something I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Just haven't found the time.
Now you've got a lot of songs and you know.
Yeah,
so
you know I've written 3 records, so
yeah,
I played all over the South Bay. I played the Viper Room. I played all over Hollywood. Yeah. So you know, I did all that, and and so writing a song and writing albums is not the same as writing a book or a novel.
I know. Yeah.
It took me by surprise. That's all.
Wow, that's cool, man. That is just. I'm so glad to connect. I'm so glad that we connected.
Hey, Mark.
That is so awesome. You know, I should.
Sam, really nice to meet you.
Yeah, you'll meet him when you watch it. By the way, we'll sit.
It's good to be met.
Sam, get a picture. Get a picture.
All right, everybody smile at the camera like we're taking a picture. All right, that's good.
And then what we'll do is we'll send you the link and we'll put your information on there and all that.
So do you have a link for your book on Amazon? Or can I just go on Amazon and search?
I just looked up Circumstance.
Okay.
We can send them with Circumstance with James Laing and it pops right up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put
and
the
I
link
really
on
appreciate it. I'd like to get this made into a movie and I'd like to get this into a mini Netflix series, something where we can take a lot of the proceeds and help people with addiction and mental illness and get a little bit more awareness towards a greater good and a cause. So there is a backlash for this if this does go somewhere, I would really, really, really love to take it and give it back and
Well, you've got
yeah,
a treatment. You've got a
I
treatment right
know.
here.
Yeah, that's a good treatment. You're right. So hopefully it gets in the right
Treatment.
hands, Mark.
Well, if this thing takes off, I think Mark and I should have roles in the movie.
Oh,
What do you
absolutely.
think, Mark?
Absolutely.
And I gotta believe that Lips should be a last name of one of your characters. I mean, who would? I mean, make him a
We're not talking about pornography here, Mark. Let's
yeah, right. He's a pornographer in Van Nuys. His last name. Yeah.
last
Hey,
name
man.
Lips.
It's so great to connect with you, brother. I love you. This is awesome, and we'll
Thank
see
you, James. I apprate it.
All right, guys. Sam,
Have a
nice to
good
meet
one.
you.
All right,
Mark,
cheers.
Mark.
Hey, give Sarah a hug from us.
Thank you. Peace.
All
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good. 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 Enough. As good enough.